Now close this tab and close GoToMeeting also.
So I can close this now.
Yeah,
Both.
yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Okay. Hello. Okay. Hello guys. Today we are here to hello. So let me just configure everything and share my slide first. Okay. So hello everyone. My name is Shashi Ranjan Jha. I'm working as a cybersecurity analyst in data space security. And today we are up here to discuss the role of monitoring and reporting tools like Splunk. Hello. Yeah. So today we are up here to discuss on the role of the security and monitoring tools like Splunk and other. There are also some security monitoring tools, but Splunk is among the most choiceable and most reputed. So let's see how we can make insights of the data from the that we get from various source points, or which like there are humongous amount of data all around us and we need to use all those data for our benefits. So how Splunk plays an important role in order to make insights of that data. So we will see this in this tutorial. So uh, let's go further. So this is, you can see a basic dashboard over here. So we can make a dashboard out of the logs data that we that are very like unstructured, but through Splunk we can search and find specific keywords, and using those keywords we can make data look like this. Like we can use bar graphs or pie charts in order to make data look good and be more presentable. So let's let's go further. So this is some company overview of Splunk. Like it was founded in 2004. It is having over 6,600 employees and based in 12 countries. And because of this, it is having a very good customer base and support base over the internet. And there are many forums like where we can go and discuss about the various use cases and discuss about uh, problems and issues that we need to troubleshoot, and they are very helpful, and you can get online commands and ways in which you can troubleshoot any issue that comes after the deployment of Splunk in your system. So because of its wide acceptance over the globe, Splunk is very famous, and it is very like easy to install and easy to monitor tool. So let's go further. Like, what is Splunk? So, Splunk is a software that is used to search and analyze machine data. This machine data can come from web applications, sensors, devices, or any data created by user. So we see that there are we use in day-to-day life, like uh, uh, there are various sources of data that we see in our day-to-day life. Like if there is a organization working and they have a product base of some website, like they are running some global website over. So you can see people get interact with your product and generate a lots of data, and that data might be very useful for your organization in order to develop your products or in order to make your product more valuable for your customers. So for that, we need to make data very useful for us. So we see that there are various technologies that we use in an organization, like desktops, web servers, databases, security servers, or firewalls, other things. There are also data related to the manufacturing companies, like there are machines that are used in energy sector or GPS server sector. So those machines might get affected due to some reason. So there must be monitoring or there should be a mechanism to check, detect, and then analyze any outcomes that happens due to any bug or any in any circumstances due to time factors or due to uh, due to a large amount of data. Sometimes server may feel downtimes or your system may work differently. So in that case, these log data are very useful in order to troubleshoot the issues or to find any vulnerabilities or to get like instance of what has happened in the past. So we see there are various things that we use this data for, like in security incident handling we use this data. For trouble ticket, any ticket is generated due to for the convenience of the users, so that are also being generated through SIEM products. Transaction monitoring, compliance audit, whenever you have to go for audit, they must check the log files. So here, if your log files or if your data is structured and it is easy to like fetch and see, then it is very good for the auditing firms to see those logs and then do audit things. And also in the business analytics, this data is very much useful in order to determine how the business is working and what changes is required in order to make the business more fruitful or more profitable. So this is like we know that every time we are not so humans are not so like 100% secure from the any adversaries, but in the cases like zero-day attacks or something that goes wrong, sometimes when our IDS or IPS systems does not verify any vulnerability that has happened, or sometimes your firewall is not able to detect any intrusion. So in that cases, security monitoring tools like Splunk plays a very good role. We see like in times where we do not have any monitoring tools, then we know that any intrusion has happened and there is a malware in our system. So and we do not get any alert out of it from our firewall or IDS IPS system. So in that case, we generally get a call from the service desk, and this is that everything looks green in my side, and there is no intrusion has been detected from my side. No security alerts has been generated. Those ticket has been raised to the application support, and they show that all the tools, automatic tools that they have used, they doesn't show any anomalies. So these also get escalate, and then the application developer has to stop any further working on the new code. And in that case, they have to stop the current task and gather the logs that caused this incident to happen. And in the similar way, then a manual investigation goes on those for those problem, and then after that the database administrator check for the logs and then find that this instance happened because of a bad query. So all those goes for a systematic way, and we see that it takes a lot of time in order to solve this issue. So here the Splunk plays an important role, as it indexes every log into its database, and whenever we search using specific keyword, it gives us back that thing from whatever we want to see from and take insight from the data. So this is how we see a log file looks like. Like we can see this is a complete gibberish, and nobody can, like, this is a very short instance. Like there are a lot of data like this into a log file. These texts are just by seeing it looks like just a text, but these are very useful things. Like we can see these are the customer ID, these are some order ID, some product ID is there. So the time waiting on hold, so there's Twitter ID, customer's tweet is there. So everything is in between this small junk of piece of junk. But we what Splunk does in this situation is it basically indexes every query with a key and then matches with its value. And whenever we search for a specific key, it gives us back the specific value. And Splunk is like searching through the Splunk is very useful. Like we can also search for a specific value also in order to find that. So it goes through every piece of this junk and fetches us out what we searched for. So harnessing machine data requires a new approach. Why machine data is very useful, and making it useful for us is very we need a new approach for that. Why? Because human generated data are being stored in a centralized environment, in a very safe environment, and they are in the file server shares or in the desktop corporate server. So these are stored in very either these are pictures or videos or text messages. So it is not very hard to store these type of file types. Similar as the business application data, there are very relational data and highly structured in format, and these are needed to be stored in very structured way and into a very safe zone. But similarly to the machine generated data, we know that there are lots of machine. There are some data that are very useful. There are some data that are generated by machine which are not much useful. But instead, we regularly need to take insights of the data, get it into monitoring. Like we see, there are these data are very diverse and unstructured, no predefined schema into that. Sometimes it encapsulates the human generated data, like our social media post. Or so these data all are coming in real time and in massive volume, and doing a fast navigation and make a correlation between these data is very is where we need a new approach to find this, and where Splunk is playing a very good role into it. So let's see how Splunk is working all together. So wherever we host a web server, or there is some kind of GPS machine or some kind of IoT device or any web server or through which we want to monitor or gather logs from. So we basically install we can install Splunk, either Splunk forwarder into those system, and get data forwarded into the Splunk Enterprise website, and where we can do search and monitor and generate alert report and analyze, make custom dashboards out of it. And it is also a developer platform, like we can make our own custom searches and make our own reports out of it. So let's see how we can do all this. So first, to install Splunk, we have to go to Splunk website. As we reach there, we can go for free Splunk, and we can go for login. And here we give our username and password. So let me log in through this. Okay, so after logging in, we can see there are many products like Splunk Cloud Trial is also there, but we go to this product and go for free trial and downloads. Here we can download Splunk Enterprise, download for free 60-day trial. So, and for the simplicity of this session, I am downloading it on Windows 10 server. So you can download it from here. As soon the I have already downloaded it, so I will not go for the download. But we can download it from here. Just click on this, and we also need to download one more product over here, and that is the Splunk Forward Universal Forwarder. So we can see fast and secure data collection from remote sources, collect data from various sources, including other forwarders, and send it to a Splunk deployment. Use the universal forwarder to seamlessly send data to Splunk Enterprise, Splunk Cloud, and Splunk Lite. So this is basically a place. This is a software which, when we install on any system, it will forward all the logs that we specify to the forwarder to the Splunk instance on which we are working in order to make insights of the data and make data looks beautiful. So we have to download it here from here. Uh, there are also other versions like we can download on Windows, Linux OS, and other things. But for this, we will download it on for Windows 64-bit, and from here you can download it for free after registering. So as it will start download, yeah. So let me pause it. Like I have already downloaded and installed this, so let me cancel this. After downloading, just copy paste both the files into a local disk, like I have done this in here. So when we do Splunk deployment on cloud or AWS platform, we can give a parallel like local file for a remote file for other systems. So from where we can download is Splunk, and we do not need to go online through the servers. So here now let me show you how to install it first. So when we will install Splunk on Windows environment, it will first ask us to check this box for the license agreement, and then we will go for customize option. Uh, okay, so first we will need to check this box and then go for customize option. And here then we see that this is the path where the Splunk will go and get installed. We can change this path as well. Then other thing, it will ask us to whether we want to install it on the local system or on the domain account. We can also provide any domain account here. But for this, I'm setting it on the local system. Then we give a password and confirm the password as the uh, username will be the administrator, and then the password is this. You can also specify username if it asks, uh, and then for next, and then we need to install. It will take some time. That's why I haven't gone through the whole installation process. But this is the basic way you can install in Splunk on Windows. After installing a Splunk on Windows, let's see how we can install Splunk on other environments like on AWS cloud. So this is my AWS management console. Here, from here we see this EC2 instance. We go this to this EC2, and you can see I've already installed and running Splunk. Let's see how we can launch a new Splunk admin instance. So just go to launch instance, and here we need to search for Splunk. Hit enter. We find there are 15 results for the AWS marketplace, and this is the free tier Splunk Enterprise instance that is available by Amazon. So let's just select this. After selecting, we okay. So let's go for continue, and here we have to select the free tier eligibility one, and it will give us one CPU and one GB RAM, I guess, and then configure the instance. Here we can leave everything by default, but we can select here our own VPC network if we have any, and the subnet regarding to it. And then we just need to add storage. By default, it is giving 20, but for free tier, it is giving us for 30 GB. So we can change this up to 30 GB and then add some tag up to it. So we can add tags like name is Splunk admin like this, and then we will configure the security group. Okay, so here is something that is needed to be that is needed. Like if we are like in this case we are launching it for the simplicity sake of simplicity, we are launching the Splunk Enterprise version from AWS. But if we want to like install it on some other instances, like on the Unix or Linux based instance or on Windows. So sometimes we need to configure this security group as the by default it is the Splunk client that needed 9997 and 8000 and 443 and 22 for SSH. So these ports are needed for Splunk Enterprise to work on. If we are doing it on some other instance, there might be seen that these ports are not being open. So in that case, we can add rule here and change this to all traffic, and then give a custom IP based on this. If we are doing this 00.0/0, then this instance will be accessible from anywhere in the world. But for the sake of security, we can do this my IP, and then this instance will only be accessible through this IP address or this IP range. So I do not need to do anything because everything is being configured. So I will remove this and just see review and launch, and we can do review and launch from here, and everything you can see from here. We can edit anything, either we can launch. So I'm not launching it because I have already launched one Splunk Enterprise. Like you can see here how it looks like after get launched. So in the instances, this is the Splunk admin instance that I have created, and we can see this is the Splunk AMI, the same instance that I have shown how to install is being installed and running. So after creating this, we need one more instance for testing purpose. So we will start one uh, Windows instance. So let's just go for Windows, search for Windows, and we can select any server from here. So just select this and go by default. Either you can configure all this or just go and review and launch, and from here just launch this. So by doing this, uh, before launching it will ask for the key pair, so you can check for any, you can create a new key pair by the name, or you can choose the existing key pair. So I have an existing key pair, so I will choose this and I acknowledge and launch the instance. But I will not launch again because I have already launched some instances and there are no more elastic IP that I can assign to any instance. So uh, Let me show you how the two instance will look like after getting launched. So when we go to EC2, let's just it is taking time. I don't know why. Hmm, let's just wait whether it is working or not. Let me check whether net is working. Yeah, it should work. Okay, now it is working. Yeah, so here is the Splunk admin instance that I started, I guess. Yeah. So here is the Splunk admin instance that previously I started, and this is the Windows instance that I have started for where I will install the forwarder. And so let me just first start these instances and the Windows one also. It will take few minutes before starting. Mm. Okay, so before doing anything, let's just give elastic IP to these instances because elastic IP is necessary in order to uh, access these instances publicly. So how we can do that is just go down, and here you will see the elastic IP section. From here we have to go to this allocate elastic IP address, and then uh, if we can add tag if we want, or just do allocate. After it is being allocated, then we have to this is the IP address that has been allocated to us. Then we have to associate this IP address to the instances that we have created. So right now we have created a Splunk admin and Windows server. So for both the instances we have to assign this elastic IP. So just choose the instance like this, and just associate. So I have already associated this instance with IP address, so I will not do that. But this is just simple as that. We can do this. Similarly, we have to associate the IP address of the Windows server as well. After associating both IP addresses, we can see, we can see this is the IP address for my Splunk admin, and this is for the Windows server. Okay, so now both the instances are running. So first we will interact with this instance, which is the Splunk one. So we just need to copy this address, see whether it is accessible on 8000, because by default it is working on 8000. And see, we can see that it is being accessible. And if we are running it on AWS, then there is an usage policy right here, usage instruction, where you can see what is the password and what is the uh, how we can use it. So by default, the username is admin and the password is something. So what we will do, admin and the password, which is Splunk, and the instance ID. So let me copy this instance ID and paste it here and do a sign up. Okay, admin. Okay, so this is the first scene or the first dashboard that we see after getting Splunk Enterprise installed on our instance. We can see that this is being accessible through this IP address on this port, and it is accessible from anywhere right now. Okay, so we see this red. This is the alert system. It should be green, but it is red. It says that IO wait. So this is because no data is being forwarded to this instance right now. So first, let me search and report. Like, let me see, is there any search here? So this is the search bar where we can search and see anything. You see, it gives us some suggestions as well. So by default, it Splunk has one index named main, so we can search for main index, and let me search for like last 1 hour, is there anything? So it is showing me some data. Okay, yeah, so this is the data coming from the second uh, instance that we have started, that is the Windows server. So let me connect to this Windows server once again. Uh, Let me connect through this, and uh, let me open RDP. And here we need to do some configuration change, like we have to add a local resource here. So for that, I have added this local disk D, where I have installed the Splunk forwarder and Splunk client, so as to download, install Splunk uh, into this remote desktop machine. So let's just go to general and do this computer name, RDP client. This is the public DNS. We have to copy this and give it in the computer name field. Username is okay. This is administrator. Let's just try to connect. His username is admin. Okay, so it started. Now we have to get the password. For that, let me just select the PIM or the password file that we have created, and then open it, and then decrypt it. In order to decrypt the password, then copy the password, paste it here, and say okay, say yes, and it will accept the certificate. And we can see we are now in this Splunk, into the Windows machine. So by I have already installed this Splunk forwarder. So let me first uninstall this, and then we'll show you how we can install this forwarder. So let me go to uninstall, add or remove programs, control panel. in order to get the Splunk forwarder resource from the like local sharing machine. So just go to this and go search here from the network. You can see this is the TS client, and our D drive has been mounted here, and from here just we can copy the Splunk forwarder on to this machine, and after getting copied and uninstall, and let me check once again, like I haven't checked. Install a program. You can see no forwarder has been installed. So if we like we were saying that in here we were getting the data for the 5 minutes also, like all the data that was coming from that instance in 5 minutes window also. But if we go to 30-second window, just now what we like we have uninstalled the Splunk forwarder, so no more data has been forwarded. Or if we check 1 minute window, I guess there should not be any data. Yeah, so there is no data that is coming from that machine no longer. So now we have to install this forwarder here. So what we do, we will double click this, and it's a similar kind of thing. And we are going for a on-premises Splunk Enterprise instance, and go for customize option. We can change this file, but for the, I am taking it as default. Uh, we do not have to give this certificate password in order to if we have purchased this, and then we have to give this password as well. But for now I just go next, and I want to install it on this local system, so I will do next again. And this is where we have to select what kind of log files we want to monitor from this system. So we can go for application logs and some kind of memory or CPU load also, how much disk space is in left, and some system logs and security logs. Okay, the, click everything that we want to select, or we can also select here the files that we want to monitor. So we can select file specific things, we can select directory specific things here which we want to monitor from this system. Then we will go for next, and here we have to give a username password. So let me just give a test. Okay, now we will do next. And this is a deployment server. It is asking for deployment server IP address on port 8089. Right now we are not having any deployment server, so we do not need to specify here. For the next, we want a receiving indexer IP address. So here we need to give the IP address of this machine. So we'll just copy this and paste it here, remove all the slashes and everything. And by default it is listening on 9997, and we also want it to listen on 9997. Then next and install. So now it is the Splunk forwarder is getting installed, and let's just wait for a few seconds and it should get installed. By now we are seeing that there is no update on 1 minute index window, as it stopped indexing for from 1 minute as soon as we uninstalled Splunk forwarder from there. Yeah, so keep checking for the 1 minute window. Now we see some data is being coming. So I think yeah. So this is being finished, and as soon as this gets finished, we can see some data in real time that is coming. And if we click on this, we see the log name is application. So we have forwarded the application log, some memory logs that are coming from the host. We can see all the lines here and anything that is available. So by changing it, we see that how data is coming and being forwarded from that machine to this machine, where we can do a lot of things here. So this is a normal deployment of Splunk forwarder and Splunk client on cloud, and through this we can monitor the logs in real time and make insights of it. For the next, I will close this here because I have installed Splunk on my uh, local environment, and we'll see what we can do with Splunk on the local environment. So I will close this. I'll close the instances as well. Okay, so uh, when I install Splunk on my home network, on my home device, we can access the Splunk on this specific IP address on 127.0.0.1 on 8000. After visiting this, we will get a, a login form page where we have to log in through the username and password that we have given during the sign up process, during the installation process. Sorry. So now let me just sign in Splunk. Okay, so the similar page that has appeared there now at this machine. So the basic difference is on that machine we were looking for logs of forwarder logs, but on this machine we are hosting this on our own machine, so we can see or monitor logs from this machine and whatever files that we add on this machine. So we can go on add data uh, in this. We can go for upload if there is any file that we want to upload. We can select file specific from here like this, and then open it, and these are the log files, and we see these are the log files. So we have added this here. Then we will select a source type, and by default it takes some source type. We can go for the default settings also, or we can specify any specific source type for this. So let me go for the default and go for save as, give some name like audit data, let me description, security audit, or something like that. We have to select the app as search and reporting because we have to search through this log data and then report it. So this should be search and reporting, or you can change. There are many other apps also provided by Splunk. But for now we are doing search and reporting for, so we will have to select this and go for save. Then say we'll select next. We can change the host field to something like anything. Like this is for the buttercup, or this is home desktop, or no. So this is the audit. audit the desktop, and we can select the index. Like I said that there is by default a main index there. We can create a new index as well, uh, but uh, for the simplicity, let me check for the main only. And after selecting this, we have to review and then just submit it in order to make it done. So I've already added some sample data, sample log files of, and we will work on that in order to make dashboards. So let me show you what was the data that I have added first. So this is the data of a website, and this is the access log data. This is how these data is look like, and to find something out of this is very difficult, and making insights and making dashboards out of it will definitely prove something very fruitful for the organization. So I've added this into the Splunk. Like right now I have showed how we can add this, and now we know that there is that log file is in the main index. So we will write index equal to main and change this value from last 24 hours to all time, because it is one time file and it is not taking logs in real time. So we have to change this time zone from last 24 hours to all time. We can also specify other time zones here, like real time, date range, from where, from between. So we'll see that also, but for now we will go for presets and then all time, and let's just wait and let it fetch all the files from the log. So we are seeing here approx 1 lakh, 2 lakhs, 2 lakhs 39,000 events matched in the main index. Okay, so now we see that uh, it talks something about Buttercup games. So this data is from the Buttercup games. So let's see what Buttercup games is doing. So we can search using main index also, or using the keywords there. So let's search what is Buttercup Games are offering. So after doing this, we are seeing there are some selected fields. So these are the fields that we have selected. Uh, this is the log data that we are searching for. This is the source type of it, and these are some interesting fields, like what else are there in this log file. So there is data regarding to purchase, add cart, view, change condition. So we can see that this data is of some shopping or e-cart website, and there are some more data like Mozilla browser type, category ID, client IP is there, date and hour is there. So we see uh, Splunk automatically uh, give some keywords to this data thing. Like we can see that we have not defined like there is nothing as defined as browser type here, and it is like adding this into consideration as a browser type or bytes. So Splunk is automatically indexing all our data with specific keyword in order to make it more accessible and easy for searching. So we what we can do is just search for specific things, and we will get uh, the necessary use cases or necessary data that we want. So let's check use case that if there is some kind of intrusion that has happened in Buttercup Games website, like, and if we can find out any IP address or any location based on from where this intrusion has happened. So in order to find that, we have to go for specific search, and we know that anything suspicious if had happened, then there might be a chance of uh, like we have to go through this interesting field, and let's check what we can use from here. So there are registration IDs, We don't want ID, so what we want is something like status. So we see that there are statuses. So those 200 status is for okay, and others are means there is something wrong with it, either errors or some other thing. So we know that 403 is uh, for the wrong authorization thing. So we can just select status equal to 403. So here we just want to, we are saying all the incidents that are having status 403 in it. So these all are events uh, that are not supportive, and that are trying to get unauthorized access to the server. So from here, let us just make some use some commands in order to make it more uh, beautiful. So there is a command like time chart which charts all the uh, we can use this time chart command in order to see all these events in a structured way according to the time of events or date of events that had happened. So for that we have to give this command time chart, and then we want to count all the events by mm, the status. Like we are making, so let me just first click this and let me show you what it is doing. So it is let's check the visualization and change it to the bar graph. So by using time chart, we can see that we are distributing all the 403 statuses and counting them as how many 403 status has happened according to a single day of event. Like we there are 22 403 events happened on 6th of July, then 24 events happened on 7th, then 14 events of 403 happened on 8th of July. Similarly, we see a time chart basically of 403 events, and we here we see that the most of the events has happened on 27th of July. So we have made a bar graph out of all the 403 events, and now we have to save this as a new dashboard. So we will save that as a new dashboard and give it a name. So 403 unauthorized, and we will add this here also 403 unauthorized access. And we have to select a dashboard type. So let it just click classic dashboard. We can give a title 403 on 403 from July to August, and then save this to dashboard. And if we go to view dashboard, you can see this dashboard over here. Now let's just search some other things also. So to make it, like we know that on 27th of July, the most of the 403 attacks has been happened. So let us just check from which kind of browsers does these attacks have happened. So to make it more uh, interactive, we can also give a pie chart regarding what kind of browsers has accessed our system. So for the 403 event, or or just copy, make a chart of all the events from this, changing it to all time. Okay, now we can use another command which is stats, which is giving us statistics, not by the time range, because we have used time chart for the time range, and this stats will give us the count by on whatever we want, like we want it to be on the browser type, so we can give it the browser type. Wait, let's just remove the limit. So we can see there are 2369 events of Google bot, and most of them are for Mozilla and then Opera. In the visualization, this doesn't make any sense out of it, so we can change it to something like this. This makes more sense. Like most of the browsers are for Mozilla, and then some are Opera and some are Google bot. So we want it to add to the dashboard, so we can save as and add it to existing dashboard. We can check our dashboard, which is 403 unauthorized, and then panel title, browser type, access our web server, and save this to dashboard. Again, we check our dashboard. Okay, we can see both the things are being added here. We can also edit this in order to place it and make it more beautiful. So both the things are side by side. Okay, and let's just save this. Okay, let's just add the IP addresses also into this dashboard in order to make it more meaningful. So what we can do is again search for Buttercup Games, and for the status of 403, change this to all time. We can see there uh, we have listed some events, and we want specific things like client IP is there. Okay, some IP is there, some, okay, both the things are there, so both are same, I guess. Now what we will do, we for the 403, and we want IP equal to star for all. So both the searches are being done here. Okay, it is taking time to get loaded. So it is done. And now we can use IP location command in order to find the location of all these IP addresses on a map. So we want this IP to be IP location based on IP. Okay, and we can use another command which is geostat. So it is basically similar to stat command that we used previously in order to make statistics out of the data that we are using. And similarly, we are using geostats command in order to show that statistics in geographical uh, map of world. So we want geostats to be count by the statuses, like how many 403 events that has been occurred. So as soon as we do that, it changes into a cluster of map. We can change this here, but this is how we are actually working. So this is for the all time. Okay, we know that the event has happened in between 27th. So we can select that time and range, between time range, and we will select this into between and change this date to July 27th, because we are seeing a sudden height on 27th of July, and we want to check that from where uh, this sudden spike was coming. Right now, we are seeing here that spikes are from all these three countries, so there is a possibility that the attack that has happened or the intrusion that has happened are from any of these three places. And but we saw that the spike was on the 27th of July, so it is most probable that the attack that has happened must be on 27th of July. So we can filter out the date specifically here, and then we'll just say apply, and we are seeing only very less events. It is now 122 events, which was previously some near around some 700 events. And from here, we are clearly seeing that most of the spikes are coming from this region. So this is what we wanted, and we will save this again as an existing dashboard and select the 403 authorized dashboard here and give a panel name geostat geostatistic of 403 attempts and save this to dashboard. Now when we see the dashboard, we can see this, and we can also change the theme to dark and then say like I or only like this, the dark panel. And now we can see how we used uh, a case, a single case, in order to find what had happened and from where the attack or from where the incident has happened. Similarly, we can use Splunk in many ways in order to find which product is more like popular among which part of the country that product is mostly being sold or sold out. So all these things can be done through Splunk, and this is making it very, very useful in order to find, uh, in order to make insights of the data. So keep trying install on different instances, like on Linux or on Unix or Linux, on Windows, on Apple OS. So by that you will get a good idea about how you can install Splunk on different environments and keep like using experimenting with Splunk dashboards and make beautiful dashboards out of it. That's all for today. This is the simplest overview that could be possible to give about Splunk, and this is the simplest way you can deploy Splunk in your business. Uh, just keep remind of the security groups and the security postures that you will need when you will use Splunk on the deployment on the real deployment scenario, because there the cases are very different from what I have seen here. This is for the tutorial and for the learning basis. So keep learning. Thank you.